Often, customers are counted but not valued, like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're rewriting the rules and prioritizing you, our valued customers, who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim your $600 gift card when you add internet to your current postpaid plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
Basta! We run things, things are run we. Basta! Basta! Living color, do it differently. Basta! Basta! Large and in charge, like for the party. Basta! Basta! We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
7 flavors, best taste, Buster, bolder, better, better. Pick your color.
We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
Buster, live in full color.
Buster!
And I'm back with you, and this time we are in Voices. And if you have been following how I do my stints, when I roll over from Island Tea into Voices, I often tend to carry a topic or an issue from one program into the other. So today I'm going to do likewise. I'm going to take that issue of the white lady who was driving her car and communicating via TikTok to black women and asking them to help or assist or take part in the struggle for the equality of women, for women to be on a level with men in terms of equal pay and so on and so forth, and also to be a part of the ongoing protest in relation to the present regime and what has been unfolding. To put that into proper perspective in relation to here in the Caribbean region, like I said before, we have a diaspora that is very, very vast, extending across the globe. If you go almost anywhere around planet Earth, you will find Kittitians and Nevisians who reside or work in diverse places. So, because we tend to migrate, there's always that link with back home, whether you do so by phone, whether by coming back occasionally for family get-together or for carnivals and culturamas and so on and so forth. there's a back and forth. So whenever we hear Afro American, don't just think that it's only individuals who were born in the United States of America. It's a cross cutting of many individuals, people from Africa, people from the Caribbean, people from all over the globe. And so what ails one tends to have a ripple effect. And as we know, whatever happens in the U.S., we are right on the doorstep to the United States. So we often are the first to feel the repercussions of whatever happens in the U.S. But even aside from that, just not too long ago when I was speaking with Mrs. Henry, Sylvie Henry, and she made the statement that part of the predicament we are in as a people who lack, for the most part, a knowledge of our history is because of ourselves, because we are black people. We have a government structure that is led by mostly black individuals. So why is it that we are not au fait with our own history? And I use the example of not too long ago, I think it was Socrates who was hosting here on Voices, and I heard him say that they posted something at Brimson Hill that tried to pacify or water down the extent of slavery here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And let it be clear, when, as a student of history, one never wants to push the agenda of hatred, to say, well, we're going to be vengeful because of what we went through during the period of slavery. Fortunately for us, we are in a much better place than our foreparents were, who had to put up with and endure the atrocities of that period of slavery. We are, because of them and because of the sacrifices that they made, we are presently in a very, very good position. And many who come to the Caribbean region often envy what we today have and what we enjoy, so much so that it seems, I often hear individuals say, who visit, individuals of a different ethnicity often say, you all don't seem to be appreciative of the beauty that surrounds you, of what you have as a people. And I am inclined to a considerable extent to believe that that is the case. And more, as we go into the future, less and less it seems of the younger generation are au or are aware of the history of the past that afforded them and us the opportunity to be in the position that we are today, education-wise, health-wise, standard of living-wise, and so on and so forth. We seem to be unaware of the road, the part, the very, very horrific part that our foreparents had to endure so that we could be in the position that we are today. And so that we don't find ourselves back in that position, because there are those who say, well, slavery will never repeat itself. Well, it might not be the chattel slavery of the past, but slavery by any means is slavery. And what we are and what we have been seeing evolve over time is a sort of industrialized slavery, where the well-to-do superpowers exploit what the developing nations or the developing countries have, and then it comes back to us, and in particular to those on the mainland, Mother Africa. It comes back to them at an exorbitantly increased price or rate. So we have to be very careful that we don't find ourselves in servitude again by whatever means, whatever modern mode is used to exploit a people. So I'm going to play for you again the clip that I played earlier on Island Tea, and I'm going to dissect what is being said or has been said so that we can have a better conversation. In the meantime, like I always say, if there's any issue that you feel you want to bring to the fore, whatever it is, as long as it does not malign anyone, as long as it does not put the station in a compromising position by way of what you want to represent, then feel free to do so. And I will try my best, even within my limited capacity, to indulge you and let us have a conversation. So if you feel so inclined, give me a call. I have to get back those phone numbers. They always used to be off to my right, but somehow that disappeared. So I'm going to have to get back that list with the phone numbers. But I'm sure that a lot of you know the numbers. And so feel free to call and indulge in whatever manner you can. Also, we are trying to work on our transmitters, so when our transmitters are up and running and can disseminate our signal within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and the immediate surroundings in our proximity, then I know that the interaction will be much better because you will be able to hear us straight over the airwaves on your radio, phones, whatever apparatus. Anyway, I'm going to play this clip, repeat it, and we're going to see if we can break it down and or dissect it.
Dear Black women, we did this together. We need to stand together. As a woman, we have blazed these trails together.
Blazed what trails together? Oh, do you mean when black women started the suffrage movement and then white women took it over and decided to leave black women in the dust? Is that the trail you're talking about? Or how about the Me Too movement that was created by black women and white women took it over and left black women in the dust to the point where they had a march and didn't even invite black women to speak at said march? Is that the trail we blazed together? Curious.
Why this hate on white women? Why are you doing this? Separation will lead nowhere, and we have to bargain together. I don't know if you noticed, but the world is still being run by men. Men that love war and that love keeping us divided.
White men. The men that you guys raise. The world is being run by white men. Gotta have your adjectives. And yeah, we've noticed.
Dear Black women, we did this together. We need to stand together. As a woman, we have blazed these trails together.
Yeah, as a woman, the trail has been blazed together. It is very, very enlightening when we hear the black individual indulge and ask the question, what trails did we blaze together? You mean the trail where the black woman fought for suffrage and then was left behind? It is rather interesting how when someone wants to put a particular agenda forward, they conveniently choose words that sounds good, but when you are aware of the facts relating to the issue, then you know otherwise. When I play these clips, like I said before, and I reiterate, they are not to incite, they are not to push hatred, they are simply for us to be aware of the history, to be cognizant of where the journey that we've taken to get to where we are at presently, and thus be able to push forward into the future in a manner that is to our benefit, as opposed to being manipulated for other individuals' purposes, to push other individuals' agendas, as opposed to us as a people. Hello, good day.
Oh, it's me again.
Yes.
Good morning to all the listeners at home and abroad. Well, let me start with something light-hearted.
Yes.
To send some birthday greetings.
Yes.
Mrs. Violet Jones, Manlade, today's her birthday. She's quite a nice person, you know.
Okay.
She was a head teacher, and then she worked at the Addis Place
Yeah.
with the young adults
Yes.
who are disabled,
Yes.
and she treated them just like her own children, you know.
Okay, that's
Went
good.
all the way out. So, Violet Jones, happy birthday. And two ladies, one knocking 103, you know that?
No.
Teacher Ann, they said she was a teacher
Okay.
from Sandy Point.
Yeah.
She's making 103
Wow.
today. So do some subtraction and see how far you got to go.
I
No,
don't think I will ever get there. You women have a history of, once you
We have to look. We are totally you all for what we just get. It's called compensation.
perhaps
So I run around, look, all the women way out yourself.
okay.
It's one out, you all one out.
Well, I don't.
I could imagine somebody mend them. Let me go. And tomorrow we'll make Mrs. Harris
Mhm.
from St. Peter's, Lower Monkhill,
Yes.
103.
Mm.
It's compensation, you know. I should tell my husband, I said,
Well,
go
perhaps-
ahead, run round.
Perhaps you are right. Perhaps you're right.
Yeah, compensation.
Yeah.
Women know when to stop.
Mm.
Men think they could clean up the whole harem, you know. Ask Solomon. Solomon died leave the harem, you know.
That's a good example.
And when David had to run from his son Absalom, he had to run leave the 10 women he had there.
What did Solomon say when he realized it all amounted to? What did he say?
he
All
said-
his
he said-
vanity.
He said more than that. He said only one man he could find a good woman. It's in Ecclesiastes, you know.
Mm.
So you must know, he get outsmarted,
Mm.
and he still called the wisest man. I don't know how to get that reason. He's so wise, and women turn him into an idolater. Where he build houses for the gods and all of that and whatnot.
Yeah.
And stocking up, wait think remember, even something would happen. All them eunuchs, make sure that, they couldn't impregnate them, but they're helping themselves. 700 and whatever.
Mm.
No wonder he ended up so depressed.
Yes.
When you read the book, he said he didn't spare himself from no pleasure, nothing.
What there's a part where he said something about it amounted to nothing but the vexation of the flesh or something.
He
like
must be vexation. And then he stop and say, who will I leave this thing for? I don't know if it's a fool or a wise man.
Mm.
Because sometimes when you stop to consider, some people work in 10 and 20 jobs.
Yeah.
If you get a heart attack, who's going to get it?
Mm.
Next thing you know, your good neighbor moving with the lady.
You know.
We got to stop and think, Solomon. Stop too late.
Mm.
he said, well, what happened to all of these women? He said, you don't know whether a good person, a fool, or a wise man. And he said, he said the most aggravating thing is what happened to the fool happened to the wise.
Yeah.
All of us going cemetery or wherever.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you think about it, some of us out here, they done retirement and still looking work.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen one. The gentleman came to work the Monday and the Tuesday, and he in his 70s. He said, me, when I hit 55, still we never go home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want no more work. House paid for car, paid for children, and get the education.
Well, you
I
see,
done with it.
you see, you perhaps it is because of your being an economist and being good with your numbers.
No, economist in this. If I was an economist, I'd get up because I could have maximized whatever I had.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, you look around and you listen to the data nonsense.
No, I was speaking.
Look at this.
I was speaking.
Take the civil service, for example. Take the civil service. Some people working since Jesus born, right?
Yes.
Time to retire. They balling for the work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe in planning. I tell people if you're going to get into debt when you're young.
Yeah.
By the time you're in your 30s, you're supposed to then borrow to build a house up or whatever. Some of them start late, get children late. So you're 60 and your child is still in high school or primary school.
Yeah.
So you got to work to support that child. When you're gonna stop? Maybe they need to read the book of Ecclesiastes.
But we never know how we never know, Sylvine, how things are how things are gonna pan out. And some individuals, I think myself, I think I got my kids kind of early, but I wasn't really planning back in those days. Things just happened, you know. So
I know, but after you catch yourself, you ain't come to yourself like the prodigal son and say, this thing here.
Well, I had to, you know, survive, you know.
But some people don't.
Yeah.
Imagine you're old. And you are going to, the mortgage is going to outlive you. What is that?
Yeah.
I hear this bank talking about 15 years for land mortgage. That makes sense? You don't hear the advertisement, right?
Yeah.
15 years for the land. When you're going to build a house? When are you going to pay for the house?
Don't you think that the banks are being just like
exploiting ignorance?
Yeah.
I said, well, wait, 50, some of them 40 years for house. Well, add 42 years and see that you got to be creeping out of the house with your walking stick. And children also. Well, I never said you go buy it. They forget you did it to make them comfortable. I mean, really?
I still feel, though, Sylvian, that because of the discipline of your studies, it kind of helped you.
Man, about my studies and about my God.
Yeah, I think that helped you.
Really?
Because hear what you said. You said house paid, mortgage, car, whatever. I mean, how many of us are that? How many of us are that inclined so that we usually we just want to live some life and then.
But that is the difference, you know.
Yeah.
Me say I knew you ain't want to buy a new car. I say, look, my car running it good. Me say I knew you ain't want to build upstairs house to say for what? You understand?
Yeah.
You got to use common sense. You see a lot of people who have these large houses and can't even eat breakfast.
Well, I've heard about them.
Yeah, and then some of them are stupid. They already have a vehicle. The house must be new. The Jeep must be new, and they live on flat land. You know, they want a four-wheel drive on flat land.
Sylvine, let me ask you a question, because that point you just made falls into something that I was thinking as you were speaking. A lot of individuals say that this is called a slavery syndrome. They say that because during the slavery era, we didn't have anything. Yeah. Now that we are overcompensating. What do you feel about that?
Well, some cases, it seems so.
Yeah.
Maybe not slavery, because it's poverty, because
Yeah,
a lot
poverty.
of us born far from slavery.
Yeah.
So even this, so slavery is a kind of hard to relate to, you know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because you hear about slavery, you can't. You,
We
number
never-
one, you can't see yourself with slavery.
Yeah, we never experienced it.
No,
Yeah, you're right.
as bad as we said, now poor as we thought we were, we never consider ourselves as slaves.
No.
And what make it worse is that we cannot pinpoint a country in Africa we actually came from.
Yeah.
That to me would be the biggest problem. If from Africa, which part? I mean, in the sale thing, you would see some of them were Igbo, they had where they came from. A lot of them were born here,
Yeah.
so they weren't registered as Africans. You know, but people grabbing people, and it's a lot is covetousness. Covetousness, you know,
Yeah.
and people pushing you.
Yeah.
When you walk, you're taking the bus to go to work. I don't own anybody. Just like me, I could eat. You know what I mean? Some people have expectation for you
Yes.
to keep you in bondage.
Well,
Bondage to the bank.
I think like you, I can honestly say I don't owe anyone. So, you know,
You know, you got to
that's a
monitor
good
but
thing.
Yeah. A lot of people unhappy, you know. They build up these hell of houses. Oh, when the child come back, child come back. Child come back, child want their own life. You know. And our children are not taught to be grateful.
Yeah.
The majority of them are ungrateful. They don't appreciate what sacrifices you made for them.
But aren't we to blame though?
Yes. We overindulge them.
Yeah. So.
But you see, sometimes you have the people that, you know, Miss Henry, you could let the children this and that, no. When they reach 18, much your mind could hear me good. If you can abide under the thing, the gate is there. The law said 18, you're an adult.
Yes.
You got to, because you can't go do what you do and then come expect me to carry you, Lord. I believe you must try and give your children a good education. I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
You know, a good foundation and training and so.
Yes. I agree.
After that, they must make their own life.
Yeah.
You know, so all of you out there, I mean, they walk in the world building these hell of houses that they can't pay for. 40 years, 30 years mortgage for an NHC house.
One of the things that I've seen people doing, they started long ago, and it seems as if this generation, younger generation, is continuing in that vein. Like you said, building big houses and saying, when I get old, I'm going to rent. Okay, that sounds good in itself. But when you have all of these houses and, then the government is offering some of these institutions that come here, they can build their dorms and that kind of stuff and so forth. So how is that going to play out in the long run?
I don't know. They're going to actually the mortgage going to leave a lot of people. And to me, you see, the government, they are looking campaign funding. You're going to tell me, when people down West Farm and so, people went to the bank, build apartments.
Yeah.
And they turn around and allow us to build dorms.
Yeah.
And, only 1 year. 1 year? So you left because the rent that the people have charged is out of order. Even though you're working here, they want 600 US. I mean, for one bedroom apartment and those kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they're now the merciless.
So perhaps that is one of the reasons why these institutions decided that
they're overdoing it, and some of those students take loan to come here. I don't know why we're so heartless sometimes. America don't mean rich, you know. The majority of Americans are poor.
Yeah.
They get a student loan and they come here. And sometimes you see, well, Lord have mercy on us. I saw one at a time, 650 US. I don't even think I had a bedroom and just a living room area. That's it. It's like I have a storeroom, the kind of size. 1,000 something for a little apartment.
Well, let me ask you something, Sylvie. If an individual builds a home, right? Can the government set parameters and say if X amount of individuals are renting apartment, they have to stay within a margin? Can the government do that? Or is that considered private enterprise?
What I think the government could do is to stop the hotels from becoming dams.
Yeah, but
you register as a hotel. You understand?
Yes.
Like Jackta and the other one.
I agree, but I'm speaking specifically to the individuals who took mortgages to build homes, but then when they realize that Tom is renting at X, they decide, well, okay, if Tom is renting at 5, I can take a chance and rent at 6. And the next one thinks, well, I can take a chance and rent at 7. And there's no cap. That is what I'm speaking about.
But the student themselves should do the pure. You don't even need a cap. When you discover that Tom one cheaper, then you just move out. Look how they move out, leave them and go on to Jackta for 6.
But I'm speaking about the people who have the homes. How do we...
People got the home allowed to be reasonable. If, look, the market determines the price, you know,
Yes.
supply and demand, eh?
Yes.
But I'm saying, somebody charging 5, you're going to charge 6. Have you considered how many persons in the market could afford it?
So
you
that
can't
is,
assume that the students have got money.
that's the question.
That's the biggest mistake they make.
So how do you... So that means... Do you just leave it that people just put up the price until it...
Until they put themselves out to the market, you can't. There's nothing you could do to help them.
Okay, so I wanted you to be clear on that, you know. So individuals have to use their discretion.
Yeah, if they're outpricing themselves, you know.
So that means if I get a mortgage on my home, I should do the calculations as to how much it costs me to build a home and how much I should get that would give me a profit, as opposed to just putting it up because someone else put it up.
Because you see, they don't understand business. They don't understand business. Number one, you must know, if this is my mortgage and the building is not occupied, I have to pay it.
Yes.
How much can you afford to put up?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't expect the rent to cover your whole mortgage, which some people try to do.
Yes.
And end up losing the house.
Yes.
Because sometimes, I think the banks sometimes are acting in it, you know. The banks, them too.
Well, the banks...
Using the people's salary. And you're trying the mortgage, right? The rent, the assumed rent you're going to get. You assume to cover the mortgage. Well, that money place empty.
But Sylvine, that is one of the reasons why in the United States in particular, a lot of housing went into a catastrophe because the banks were just giving individuals mortgages, and they knew these individuals. Yeah, they knew these individuals couldn't. But what is the reasoning behind that?
Business, they're getting an interest, a markup on every sale you make. But it is, you see, like when they had the big depression the other day in 2008 going there.
Yeah.
It was the housing thing, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm speaking about. It was the housing.
People who can't even afford to buy sugar.
Yeah.
Sell them houses. Next thing, you know, can remember, they expect the money to be circulating. It's like NHC. NHC is like that.
Yeah.
The social service levy was designed to put money into NHC. You know that, right? Called housing levy.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Well, the government collected it, put in none. So when the economy... So NHC was supposed to work on a revolving fund.
Yes.
You would pay the mortgage and the social service levy would help make it up.
Yeah.
No mortgage paying, no social service levy. So every time NHC got to build, they got to borrow.
Yeah.
Now that again shows poor poor management by the government.
Yeah.
Every time they're going to build, we're going to build 500, and it's not able to build to finance itself. But the government is collecting the social service levy.
Mm.
You know,
well,
people don't think. People they don't think. You know.
Don't individuals in the government seem to understand that when they do that, they're shooting themselves in the foot? I mean, it is.
Wait. Look. Government has one. They have parties have one aim, one determination to be re-elected.
Yeah, that is a sad.
I mean, that is the only consideration. Oh well, when we get it, we can straighten it, darling. People are quick to revolt. Mm-hmm. Look at NHC till today. NHC, when they finish borrowing our social security money, then they come with some cock and bull story. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, our leaders, they don't think. Look at this the situation we're in here now today.
Yes.
We were promised 2,400 houses. My first question was, where is the land to build them on? Now, if they were serious, they would have been buying up the land before they entered into those kind of situations. Because most of the land is still locked, you know.
Yes. From
by 600, all of these are millions that they were throwing around.
Yeah.
Buy land first, then the land could go with the houses. Otherwise, you're going to be forced to pay a lot more for the land than it is even worth. But all you think, well, shake your keys, you know, shake the keys.
Yeah.
Embarrassing poor people, shake the keys.
So, Sylvian, are we aware of how much land is still under the land for debt thing?
How could we assume? I think, how much units you said about? 400 acres, something like that?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was about 1,000, 10,000. No, it was 6,000 for us. Mm. And they didn't have enough. So I think another 617. Maybe it's 12,000 or more, you know.
Mm. So we don't have...
most of the land still there. And something people don't know. A lot of these property, they're paying interest on the loan, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I had to drive to Dr. Douglas' attention one day, when National Bank announced it had made $25 million in profit, it was almost the exact amount that the government paid as interest. The bank can really make nothing because the loan is still a liability.
Yes.
You know, so we don't think you already can do nothing. Sell some of the land to our people. Take a little lower price. Now they're walking there, they're giving away the land. Every time I see the horse and the donkey track. I mean, we sold it cheap. The owner, we sold it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The thing should be trying to redeem the land.
I would think that, as you said, if you sold some of the land, that should help our GDP to some extent, because construction will start to, people will start to build their own homes and then, I don't.
You're going to bring in pepper, you know? Pepper. Not gold, not silver, pepper. Pepper what can pepper production do for the country?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is the price per pound? What is the price per pound?
If we have a, as you see, escalating threats of war, are we going to eat those peppers? Are we going to cook those?
We get pepper with soup.
I don't like to knock the politicians, our leaders.
Not knock, you're assessing.
But still, in all honesty, you wonder what they are thinking, because you would think that you need crops that could feed your people. Yeah, could feed your people.
Like old time days, you got some other food, some dashi or something.
Yeah.
Well, maybe some of these young people who don't want to do the work, give them pepper in the soup. But I mean, seriously, you know, and so many acres you go and plant pepper.
Yeah.
And the pepper is not ours, not even the seed belong to us. The people send the seed. Are you aware of that?
Yes, yes. And
We don't have
this thing about the seeds again, that is causing a problem around the world, because the seeds that they tend to send are different to the seeds that we have here when we get the seeds from our trees and plant them. The seeds that they tend to send, after 1 year or maybe 2, they just deteriorate.
Well, so they send us a next set, so we will always be in debt.
Yeah.
I said, well, wait, you mean to tell me this modern day and age, our nice, God bless, intelligent rulers and got pepper, you know?
Yeah.
How much a pound of pepper?
I don't know.
I mean, go plant some yam and dasheen and whatever.
Bananas, coconuts, those kind of stuff, you know.
Well, they said I have the coconut trees. Coconut? The bananas again. When bananas start to wipe, all wipe, you know.
Well, the funny...
Unless we plan to give them, we could give them to the Dominicans when they're going down.
The good thing about bananas is that it doesn't have a season, you know. Once you plant it, it's gonna bear. So if you plant it using wisdom and planting...
Have you assessed the market demand for bananas?
I don't know.
See, we don't plan. I have so many banana things. What is the local demand?
Yeah.
When the Dominicans come here, about how many? Can you find out, because the agriculture department, they have to say, how many hundreds or whatever bunches of banana? How many does the supermarkets buy? Because they tend to buy them from the people with the boat.
Yeah. I do know that we consume a lot of bananas.
We do.
Yeah.
But if you go and how much thousand banana things should have. We don't put enough effort into developing our market. We talk it.
Yeah.
Because with market, the islands are nearby, Stacia, Sable, St. Martin. Well, now that they're part of the OEC, so suppose we should have easy trading, sir?
Should.
I mean...
I thought long ago when I was young and just about to leave school that our leaders would have done an assessment, see the islands that can do agriculture and those that can't, get together and decide who will plant what and work out.
That has been done donkey years.
Yeah.
Guyana, they had settled in Guyana, countries under the industrial thing for CARICOM.
Yes.
It was done.
Okay.
So saying it was to make shoes and clothes.
Yes, yes.
Right. Other countries have assigned to produce something else.
So
some
why
kind of products?
So why have we?
Why that fell through?
Why have we strayed away from that? I mean, I know part of it.
Insularity. I recall when I was in Jamaica in '82. When the '82 came from '84. I saw the past of Crab House, not Crab House, in the Malaloo place. They used to make macaroni and whatnot, and corn curls and so.
Yes, up at the
I saw them in Jamaica in the supermarket. We were given the job to make shoes because we were assigned shoes and garment manufacturing. The other countries, when they started the same thing.
But Sylvine, how could we, I understand what you're saying, but how could we be assigned to provide shoes when we
already had the garment industry here?
Yeah, we had the industry, but we were not in control of the industry. So whenever...
But it doesn't matter because once you got the plant,
yes,
at least the plant has a sure market. Look how many stuff Malaloo them used to make and sell. Then one of the problem was the transportation. It was what they had designed that when these trailer containers come, they were going back empty. Right?
Yes.
And now they come now and download. The plan was when they're going back, we should be able to send
something,
our products in them.
Yeah.
Then the price, the cost of the freight to move them, and the infrequency, and in some cases, they were not going to some of the islands that we wanted to supply. So the transport cost caused the collapse. You understand?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a small part we don't work out that we would have a ship that could carry stuff. So, and some of the large countries say, well, if they could make, we could make too.
Sylvie,
you know, driving garbage factory, you know. TDC had the boots, the shoes and so.
Sylvine, do you see presently, I'm going to take a break in a while, but do you see presently any signs that we are moving, that we can move forward in a manner that would benefit the whole region? Do you see any signs?
Well, we will move forward on an individual basis, but not as a unit.
So then that is a
problem. We doing well, you're doing well, right?
That is a problem.
Because we're in open competition with each other. Eh?
Because then if for instance one island is good and they're producing a lot of bananas, if you're going to do this individually, and then next thing, we tend to follow each other. So if you see that Dominica is doing something and it's good, you're going to find other islands are going to,
just like, I'm telling you, that's what they have been doing.
Yeah, just like with the Citizen by Investment. Everybody jumped on it and everybody started to compete.
I scolded, reprimanded Dr. Douglas. You know. We were the only one. And he said, well, some massive while back or somebody sent him to the other country. Said, you know what, you know exactly what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Now he felt proud that he was going and helped them to set up. You undercut and undermine your own self.
Yeah.
Because traditionally everybody for themselves.
Because at that point he was no longer in government and he felt
yes,
good.
Yes, he was.
He was in government when he did that?
Yes, because remember he started the SIDF, you know.
No, he didn't start it. That started on the... He started...
No.
He
There
expanded...
was a real estate only. In 2006, Dr. Douglas started the SIDF.
Okay. Like
because
I said...
remember, the sugar industry closed in 2005.
Yes.
It was sugar industry, whatever, fun. And he went around...
So
helping Dominica, whatever, to set up their own.
So Sylvine, I want to be clear because I don't know everything. So you're saying that the Citizen by Investment is different to what was there before under the PAM regime?
The one before was you had to build a property or buy land.
Oh, okay.
But on the SIDF, you gave a donation.
Yes.
You didn't have to put down any structure, anything like that.
Okay. I understand now.
That's the difference. But see, so we don't undermine one another.
Yeah.
Because you see what happened when you got a country with poor people, they're making a lot of sometimes unreal demand on the government.
Yes.
Which forces them sometimes into this position. They want to work. Nobody think about making no one work, eh? They want to work, so in order to get work, they go and they get this kind of enterprise, that enterprise. And everybody out there, even with the cruise ship, I say Antigua got 6 ships. We build a pier. We get in 4.
Yeah.
So everybody competing against each other. All right, then, let me come out some.
Yeah.
Anyway, happy birthday again.
Yes.
To Mrs. Harris Beverly. She was my boss and my co-worker. Her mother will be making 103.
Yes.
I don't have 103, buddy. if I could have seen, and I was in my right mind, because, you know, the brain, sometimes I hear struggling to remember a name.
Oh, well, that happens with all of us.
I don't want 103.
Miss Henry,
all
that,
have a long life.
That happens with all of us. I think your mind is very sharp still.
Sometimes I can't remember the name.
Names has always been a problem with me, and I'm sure a lot of individuals too.
You better start practicing name.
Yeah.
All right then. Have a good day. Have a good day.
Same to you. Take care. Thanks for your indulgence.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued, like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're rewriting the rules and prioritizing you, our valued customers, who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim your $600 gift card when you add internet to your current postpaid plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
And I'm back with you. The time is 10:58. And I'm going to jump on a different tangent here now. As we know, this U.S. aid business has been going right across the globe. Let me see if I can indulge this caller. Hello?
Yes, Quint.
Yes.
Good day once more again.
Yeah.
In Jesus' name. Now, what I'm going to call is, first of all, from something that was said earlier, Miss Henry said earlier that me saying anymore now or something like that, that capitalism is of the Bible. Well, I do not know what I have said in the past or today that could imply or give the impression that I'm saying anything other than free market capitalism is of the Bible, and that's the only economic system of the Bible and does work in the real world. So let me just correct that part. Now, I'm also going to say this. And I've said it more than once.
Before you go on, right? Sylvine made a point, which I think was a very strong one in relation to scholarships being offered when, you said that Cuba doesn't give anything free. So when they give scholarships for education so that poor individuals can go and get a learning, whereas they would be unable to do so otherwise, don't you feel that that is a help?
The scholarship?
Yes.
Let me say this. Let me say this. Be it Cuba or anywhere else, I agree with the German reformer Martin Luther. These schools are gates of hell. I believe that all these schools, these universities and so are gates of hell, and they are more of a liability and a curse on us than a blessing, all of these schools. So I don't think, honestly speaking, any help these schools, and I'm not limiting to Cuba. I'm saying all these schools all over the world. I think they're the biggest reason why we are morally worse and degenerate and that sort of stuff. And I am yet, well, I'm yet to see anybody coming from these schools that are made spiritually better because of these schools. I know few people have come back spiritually better in spite of the school, because maybe there was an association with some kind of Christian organization or so, other than the school, and that may have helped them. But relying on the school alone,
So when an individual goes away, because you keep dwelling on just the spiritual, but we're not just dealing on the spiritual. When a person gets a scholarship to go and study, let's say, to be a doctor, and they come back and they practice in their country to be a mechanic, engineer, chemist, whatever. You're saying that is of no effect? That's what you're saying?
What I am saying is that these things that are supposed to be good are offset and are cancelled out by the spiritual darkness that they bring back, that they acquired from those universities, colleges, and that sort of stuff. That's what I'm saying. And the net result is negative to us, not positive. And that is one of the reasons why you have all kind of satanic indoctrination in society, because these people are bringing back their satanic indoctrination that they learned in school. Because when they go to school, they ain't just learning about being the doctor. They learn about all sorts of other satanic philosophies in the mix. So with all due respect, I'm not one who praises and celebrates what these schools are teaching.
Well, I
do not regard them as a positive.
I studied, well, maybe you might say I'm satanic too. I studied electrical engineering with the emphasis on can't even remember right now off the top of my I studied electronics with the emphasis on civil engineering, okay? And I'm not aware that I garnered anything that is devilish or demonic. But then again, you might say that I am, because I do not adhere to all of your beliefs.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did where you went to study, did it further cemented you in the thought that the Bible is just a man-made thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
That came over time. That didn't happen. That didn't happen one time. That happened over time. Ever since I was a child, going to way back from Sunday school, going to the church, I've been delving and wondering and questioning, so over time I came to my own conclusion because of what I acquired from reading and research. It had nothing. It had nothing to do with my studies in the sciences. There are those who say that when you go to Cuba, you do political science, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think when you go to Cuba, I think political science is mandatory. I could be wrong. I kind of disagree with that, but no. My studies did not in any way, shape, or form, have anything to do with how I conceive.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, but I know in a lot of colleges and universities and so on that I've heard of, a lot of professors and so are very openly anti-biblical and very openly endorse wokeism and all that sort of stuff.
Well, a professor. And any teacher can have their own concept. It's for the individual to adhere to it and take it up as their own. I mean, I've come across professors and individuals who have all kind of belief in all kind of different things, you know. But that doesn't mean I have to take up their beliefs and make them my own.
That is true, but a lot of what we've seen is what a lot of people brought back from the universities, including people who got their quote-unquote as Christians and come back as atheists. You know, so, sorry, I do not see these worldly colleges and universities and so, as a plus. I see them as a negative in society, a cancer in society. And that is why I believe people need to be properly grounded in the Word of God before they got to these things, so that you could sift out whatever, because the vast majority of people can't do that. But coming to the scholarships thing with Cuba, yes, Cuba give us scholarships, and yes, it is free to us, not to the residents there, but it is free to us. And yes, it ain't just Cuba. America has been doing that long before Cuba has started to do that, and other places as well have been doing that. So it ain't just Cuba alone. Doing these scholarships.
But the point I want to stress here is that you said that you were unaware of Cuba giving anything free. So then you would have to detract that statement then.
Well, no. The conversation that we had was in context of the doctors, you know. And our Prime Minister saying that they're doing charity work when they send the doctors and nurses. That was really the context of the conversation, you know.
Oh, you were only dealing with the doctors. I thought you...
The context. Well, I did mention soldiers. As well. But the main context of what we were talking about was really doctors. Even though I did mention them sending soldiers to other places as well.
Okay. I thought, again, I could have been mistaken. I thought that you said you were unaware that Cuba gave anything free to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. That is what I thought. But again, I could have been.
It is free to us. So in that section, I correct. Okay. Yeah, I'm corrected. In that section, the scholarships are free to us, but not free to the Cubans. But it's free to us, yes. And the same thing with any other countries. Any other countries, the scholarships are free to us. But they are funded by the citizens.
When you say not free to the Cubans, if my understanding is right, don't the Cubans get a free education?
The Cuban government doesn't give the Cubans anything free. Like other governments, no government give anything free to anybody. When I say to anybody, I mean to their own. Yes, if they give us here in St. Kitts scholarships, it is free to us, yes. But when it comes to their own people living back home, what the Cuban government give them, like any other government giving their people, it's never ever free, never ever. That is why they don't tell you, you pay your taxes to fund these things. It's never ever free to their people. That is, no matter what country, and I'm not limiting it to Cuba, because we ain't got no special really bias against Cuba.
Oh, yeah, I disagree. I believe you have a bias against Cuba. I personally feel that you have a bias against Cuba.
But it is not limited against Cuba. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, I got issues against Cuba. But it's not limited to Cuba, because I still have those same issues against other countries as well, including America. You know? But yes, I do have issues against Cuba. Well, the Cuban government, let me put it that way. What I also wanted to say is that, coming back, on WINN FM many times, I have said, well, I shouldn't say many times, but more than once, I think I have said that the president of Argentina is the best leader in the whole world, and he's miles ahead of them, including that African gentleman that a lot of people are admiring today. Because what President Javier Milei has done for his concerning his country, Argentina, is really, really, if not extraordinary, almost extraordinary.
I was doing some research, and if I'm not mistaken, his salary, what he gets as pay is about 30-something times that of the average Argentinian. So, what do you feel about that?
What do I feel about that?
Yeah. Because
Well, I think
let me show you, here in St. Kitts Nevis, I think they say that our Prime Minister's salary is about twice or maybe 3 times the amount of the average citizen, okay? And there are those who might say that is exorbitant. But here is a man who you say is the best in the world, and his salary is 32% higher than that of the average citizen in Argentina.
Yes, I have said more than once. If you are taking your country forward by making life easier for your people and that sort of stuff, then if you want to give yourself a high pay, I have no problem with that. I only have a problem.
But this isn't just, Greg, this isn't just a high pay, you know. This is an exorbitantly high pay.
Yeah. Yeah. And because
so you don't have any issues with that. You don't feel that there's some disparity. You don't feel that if he were to take let's for argument's sake, for debate's sake, say if he took at least a third of that salary.
If he took $1 trillion.
No, I'm going to say.
If he took $1 trillion, okay, because Argentina is being moved in a better direction under him, making life easier, lowering poverty, all that sort of stuff. I would have no problem with that disparity, none whatsoever, because the country is profiting under him, even for the poor. Poverty is being cut big time and is continually being cut. My problem is when people take these big salaries, and yet poverty is getting worse in your country, inflation is getting worse in your country, the poor having it hard in your country. Then that, yes, I have a problem in that context with government. Having big salaries and that sort of stuff. But once you move in your country forward and everybody benefiting, poverty cutting, that's if you take $1 trillion, I have no problem with that.
Mm.
And that's the case with Miller. So yeah, I'm not one who believe that disparity beyond a certain limit is wrong. No, it's in the context that it happening. Mm-hmm. It's in the context. Is the disparity because you are taking advantage of your people, fooling your people? Then in that context it is wrong.
Sometimes I am honestly baffled by your way of reasoning. So you're saying even if he took $1 trillion, because look at it, if he is just getting because if I'm not mistaken, not too long ago Argentina was going through all kind of austerity measures. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it means that what he has done is only more recent. So if in this short time his salary is 32% higher than the average citizen, then what do you think he would be entitled to if over a period of years the economy gets better? He would just be increasing his salary, and you don't have a problem with that.
Because
you don't feel that some of these monies that he's garnering for himself could have better been dispersed among the citizenry. You don't feel that way.
If I don't feel that way?
Yeah.
That ain't how I look at it economically. Sorry. Money is produced. Money is produced, well, in the correct way, in the free market capitalist context. Money is invested, money is produced. That's how you get money in a free market capitalism. Okay? It ain't with all due respect, it ain't because of redistribution.
And that is why, and that is why there's the argument that in that system that you're speaking about, the rich continuously get richer and the poor continuously get poor. Because let me give you this scenario. I'm going to break it down and give a hypothetical. I'm living here in St. Kitts Nevis. There's a leader. I'm not going to say this present leader because I'm giving a hypothetical, okay? There's a leader over St. Kitts Nevis. That leader is getting a salary of, let's say, $75,000 a month, okay? And the average citizen, myself included, is getting about, let's say what we have right now as our at our minimum wage, 3 something per week, okay? But he is getting 60, 70 something thousand per month. You're saying because next year the economy gets a little better and I can get my salary increases from $3.50 to $7, all right? And the next year it goes to $10. You're saying that because the standard of living is moving marginally, getting marginally better in the country, the prime minister is justified, whoever that leader is justified in piling on more and more, so that whereas my increase is next year is only from $3.50 to $7, he can add another $25,000 on his salary, and the next year he can add another $25,000. But by the end of the third year, my salary is only $10. The average citizen's salary is only $10, and you don't have a problem with that.
Taking inflation and everything in consideration, if your situation and the poor in the country is getting better and better by whatever percentage, I won't have a problem with the leader raising his salary by whatever. I won't have a problem once you take inflation and everything in consideration, and the country is getting better and better. The poor is life for the poor is getting better and better. The standard of living is increasing for everybody. Then in that context only, and let me reemphasize, in that context only, I would have no problem in the increases in the leader's salary. Okay? I would only have a problem if it is to the contrary. Okay, let me say, but where Miller is concerned in Argentina, Argentina ain't moving up marginally, you know, because it's the year before last December, he took over. And the growth that Argentina is seeing in economics, and also the decrease and continual decrease in poverty, inflation, the cost of living and that sort of stuff, and the decrease in homelessness and that sort of has been leaps and bounds.
I'm gonna have to revisit and do some research on Argentina to see if I can concur with you that it is moving at the rate that you're suggesting it is. But presently I'm not too sure, so I you know.
And let me say this. The government, remember I said Millet took over since year before last December, 2023 December is when he took over. The government that was there before was doing everything that Mr. McMahon, Miss Henry, and you and so on espouses, says that should be done. And yes, the government before was doing all of those things.
Like don't just say doing all of. Give one or two examples of those things.
Well, for example, having rent control, which you all just spoke about, having all kind of government departments, which Miller has closed down and shut, having all kind of
But Greg, Greg, I just spoke to Sylvine, and I asked Sylvine about government regulating rent and that kind of stuff, and she says government can do nothing about it. The individual will have to price themselves out of the market. So that statement is untrue. She does not.
No, but you all agree that it should be done.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
No, that is untrue. And then there's another example you use, and that again is also untrue.
Okay, so let me ask you, Quint. Do you believe that there should be a cap that government should pay on renters?
You mean on private property?
Yes.
No. I asked the question because Sylvine is older and wiser than me. She studied economics. There are things that she would know, and I would want to use her knowledge to find out things. So that is why sometimes I ask a question, right? Because I may have an idea, but I want to get another opinion. That's one. You know,
Okay. Well,
I don't always ask a question in ignorance. Sometimes I ask a question. No, you understand that, right?
Yes, I do the same too.
Okay.
I do exactly the same thing.
Okay.
But sorry for misrepresenting you, Quinn. I'm very sorry about that. My bad.
Yes.
Okay? But the government before was doing a lot of stuff that a lot of people I have heard voiced
Yeah.
in their opinions, like government caps and private property rental businesses, and government regulating this, regulating that, all this sort of stuff. And Miller has moved his country more in the direction of free market capitalism, which I espouse, okay? And because of the teachings of the Bible. And, it's amazing when I do hear Miss Henry and I will say, my views only work on paper, and I gonna make things worse for the poor and me, and the poor gonna suffer when the poor not gonna eat and all them sort of nonsense. But yet, every country that I know, and Miller is the biggest example today that I know of, when the more they do things that come in the direction of what I suppose, because of the Bible, the poor is getting better. The standard of living is increasing. They're able to eat more. They're able to buy more. Poverty is decreasing big in Argentina, as it has done in other places that have done similar things.
Greg, from since I was a child and you were a child, we have seen advancement right here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and around the region and around the globe. We have seen advancement. We've seen a decrease in the level of poverty and that kind of stuff. But still, in the overall scheme of things, there is a big disparity between the rich and the poor. That is what we're saying. You're saying that because there's a decrease in poverty, even if it is marginal, then it justifies certain other things that we feel that we kind of disagree with. It justifies a leader getting an exorbitantly ridiculous salary and that kind of stuff. We disagree on that.
Okay, let me say this.
I don't disagree on. I don't say that capitalism and free market doesn't have a place to play. What we have a problem is the disparity between, the rich and the poor.
Okay,
How that level of finance is dispersed across the board between the rich and the poor. That's where we have a problem.
Let me say this, Quint. Just like in Argentina and so on, and other places that apply free market capitalism principles, which go more in the direction of the Bible and the economy prosper and that sort of stuff. Once everybody is prospering, I have no problem with the disparity. Even if the disparity increases. Once everybody is prospering, once your country is prospering, poor is getting a better life, the standard of living for the poor is increasing. Even if the rich standard increases far more, because everybody's standard of living, including the poor, is increasing, I have no problem with the disparity. Now, let me go back with the same leader thing, because I don't think...
I'm going to let you continue, but so you don't have a problem... You don't have a problem with the rich in this world, the 2%, if I'm not... The 2 or 3%, they say, of the rich in the world have 90 odd percentage of the wealth in the world. You don't have a problem with that?
No, to a certain degree, I do have a problem with that. To a certain degree. You know why I have a problem with that? Not because of the disparity. The reason why I have a problem with that is because many, and not all, but many of the rich and that sort of stuff are using government for their
to garner their wealth
at the extent of taking advantage of the poor and that sort of stuff. So a lot of the wealth of a lot of the rich people in this world are evilly
But Greg,
acquired.
but Greg, they're using that same free capitalism and strategy to garner their wealth.
No, but then what is free market capitalism? You see, in free market capitalism, the government really ain't got no power other than to distribute justice. Other than distributing justice, the government ain't got no power. But once you are going to use government to restrict people, to regulate people and that sort of stuff, you have moved away from free market capitalism into socialism, into fascism, into Marxism and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So I don't hear a lot of people criticizing free market capitalism, and they ain't know what they're criticizing. Because a free market capitalist economy, government ain't got no power to take those kind of advantage of the poor, because their powers are cut. That is why the economy is free market capitalist. But once the government got all of this power to regulate you and abuse and all that sort of stuff, that is the very opposite of free market capitalism. That, like I say, is going in the area of fascism, socialism, Marxism, communism, and that, where the governments have all kind of power over you.
So in
But
your go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, but what I was going to say is that with the leader thing with millions again the amount of money. Now, as you know, as I explained to you, the Bible teaches that there is no civil penalty for people who don't pay taxes. So, really and truly, the best way to go about it is for people, as moved by the Lord, to support the government from their heart. And if people decided that they were going to give a lot of money to that government out of the love for the heart and the approval for the government, and that person get a whole heap of money, and definitely in that context I have no problem. I think I should reward my words to say that.
But wouldn't that be to some extent what they call it, corruption?
No, if people want to give freely from their heart, then that would be no means corruption. No, what is corruption?
If
corruption is.
Go ahead.
No, what I'm telling you, corruption is when government, due to the abuse of regulations and authority and power over people, exercise such where they engage in all kind of dirty deals and all those sort of stuff to increase the wealth. That is corruption.
Okay, if I out of the goodness of my heart decide I'm going to give the government an exorbitant amount of money, but I have an agenda, and when after I have given the government that money, I call an official and say, well, I need this done and I need that favor and that kind of stuff. And isn't that corruption?
Yes, that would be corruption.
Yeah. So then your premise that the Bible says that you should just give government out of freeness of your heart, then it does not have a real logical working means of being successful just on its own merit. It means that you will have to have responsible individuals, people without agendas and all that kind of stuff. But those are between the line factors, because to just broadly say you give out of you, Greg, always say nothing is free. So an individual is not going to just give without some hidden agenda somewhere along the line.
Yeah, but what I'm saying that a government, okay, that is in the free market capitalism direction, okay, that government does not have any power to give anybody anything. If a government have power to give you things because what you give it, it's not anymore free market capitalist. It is a socialist or a Marxist.
But I'm not.
Something like that government.
But you keep switching back the conversation. I'm going to take a break in a while. But you keep switching it back to government. You went off and you said individuals giving the government, and I followed your example, and I used your example of individuals giving the government, but with an agenda. This has nothing to do with the government exploitation. I'm speaking about people giving the government, but with an agenda to reap 10 times perhaps the fold down the line. That is corruption.
But what I am saying is that I cannot see, since a government in a free market capitalist economy doesn't have the power to grant anybody their agenda, does not have the power to grant anybody their agenda. I mean, what agenda could the government give you if you give them money? I mean, how could they grant you your agenda when they don't have the power to do it in the first place?
So you're saying that governments today don't have that power?
No, government today have that power, and that is why they're not truly free market capitalists. But the more they go in that direction, it's the less of such power they have.
Anyway,
and the more that the economy grows.
Anyway, I'm due a break. I'm going to take that if you want to call back in, because I think we have exhausted that aspect of the conversation, don't you?
Well, I think a lot more could be said, Quint. I think a lot more could be said, but we don't have the time. But trust me, a lot more could be said because there's a lot more stuff I would like to details in the final.
Sorry about that. Hello, caller. Sorry, Greg.
Yeah. Quint, I'm here listening to you and Greg, and I just want, I'm here asking myself, why would I voluntarily give the government my money? Why? Tell me why. Do I have to be out of my mind? Why would I voluntarily give them my money?
Yeah. I don't know. Sometime I think Greg is living in a utopian fantasy world, you know. I don't think Greg...
All by himself. Nobody in their right mind is voluntarily giving no government no money.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, if you could avoid paying taxes, you would.
You understand? Yeah, you're right.
Keep it real.
Keep it real. So, Greg, wake up from that utopian fantasy world.
Click your heel like Dorothy, Greg, and wake up. Wake up, because you're living in a warped fantasy world. Nobody in their right mind voluntarily giving no government their money. Quint, yeah. I'm listening, but really and truly, Greg, OMG.
Okay, take care. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break right about now.
The importance of co-parenting. Every child has the right to bond with the parents that gave them life. Children are happiest when they can freely communicate and enjoy the time, talents, and lessons that each parent brings to the relationship.
We make co-parenting difficult when we focus on differences rather than what is in the best interest of our children. Parents, your relationship with each other should never affect the relationship you have with your child. Celebrate your children together. They deserve your best. A message brought to you by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less. With our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
Tune in to Creative Voices, the ultimate radio call-in program where innovation meets inspiration. Join me, Dr. Sarah Owen, as I welcome brilliant Caribbean creatives and innovators for engaging sessions that promise to spark your creativity. Don't miss this unique opportunity to interact with our guests, ask your burning questions, and gain insights that could elevate your own creative endeavors. Tune in every other Friday from 10 a.m. to midday. Get inspired. Let your voice be heard. Mark your calendars and prepare to embark on a journey of creativity and innovation with Creative Voices.
And I'm back with you. The time 11:34, and my objective here, my main aim here, is to whatever conversation you want to bring, I'll try to indulge you, and we'll see if we can put our heads together and come up with something that is feasible to our listening audience. So do not feel that I'm going to look down upon whatever you want to bring to the fore. Bring it, and let's see if we can have a discussion. Hello?
Sorry, Quint. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible. Car was on long.
Yeah.
Let me be as quick as possible, please. No, I'm not surprised at what the lady said, but the Bible tells you when Moses was in the desert with the people of Israel, he tell them to give. He tell them to give for the building of the tabernacle. It was either in Moses or when they was in Promised Land, one of the two. But anyway, they were told to give for the building of the tabernacle. Yeah, I think it was in the desert. And the Bible said God put it in the people's heart to give to the building of the tabernacle. And they gave so much that it was even more than what was needed to build the tabernacle. But you see, these churches today teaches a weak, powerless God who is not able to operate in the hearts of men to carry out the will of God. The churches teach that kind of a weak, powerless God. So I'm not surprised with what the lady said.
But Greg, tell me if I'm wrong. I see a big difference between asking people to contribute to the building of a church to taking up your money and giving it to a government. I see a big difference there.
Yeah. A faithful Christian would believe, whether for government, building a church or building whatever, God is in control of people's heart. And when God put it in your heart to give for whatever, you will give. It all depends on how God moves in the hearts of people. So it does not matter be it a church or whatever. Because there are other instances where the people of Israel, because of God moving in the heart, and not only that, but even people outside of Israel, where God moved in the heart to have them to give, and the power of God overcome them, and they had to obey what the Lord put in the heart to do. Yeah, go ahead.
If the Lord puts it within my heart to give to you, Greg, right? I'm gonna use you as two examples. I'm gonna use Greg as the priest who wants to build a church, and I'm gonna use Greg as the example of the politician. Okay? With the example of Greg the priest wants to build a church. So I give money, and I know Greg is gonna use that money to build a church. Now, Greg might skim a little bit of that money, but my objective is that I see a church built. Now, Greg the politician doesn't have a specific thing to apply that money to. I'm going to give to Greg hoping that he puts it into something worthwhile. Now, we have seen examples of politicians time immemorial being given exorbitant monies, and it is siphoned off, and it does not go into what it was supposed to go into. That is bad enough. But when you don't give a government a directive, what you think is going to happen with that money?
Like I said, okay, number one, when you read Exodus 18, verse 21, it tells you one of the things that should be true of your leaders who you choose is that there should be men who fear God. Okay? Now, I believe by faith that once a man who fears God is the leader of the country, and we see examples of this in the Bible, the people turn to God as well. You have revival, you have transformation, you have reformation, because God worked through that leader, and the people as well of that nation turn to God as well. We have it with Jonah and the king, where the people turn to God because the king turned to God. We have it a few times with those godly leaders in Israel, where the people turn to God. So one of the things in bringing about spiritual transformation, reformation, and revival in a country is first starting with having spiritual and political godly men who fear God. And doing that and honoring God and ruling and leading according to the word of God you can hold by faith as a man of God, that God will put it in people's heart to do what they're supposed to do.
But Greg, here's my problem. I know that as human beings we are we are flawed, right? When I look around and I see most of the individuals today, and not myself, a lot of individuals can attest to that. Most of the individuals today, young and old, will tell you that the majority of these individuals who profess to know God and to be moving and being moved by the Spirit of God, we see them doing things that to us is saying they don't really believe in a God. I say that because you hear me get here and I might say, I do not adhere to your belief, but I believe in a creator. I am not a Christian, Greg, but there are certain things that I would never do. But I see people who say that they are Christians and they will do those things with just casually and have no qualms about it. And I myself ask myself, how is it that they believe in God and they do that thing? And I may not say I believe in their God, but I believe in a creator, but I would never do those things. How is that?
Quinn.
So that is why we cannot just get up and put things into the hands of man and hope and have faith that they will do right.
Quint, once God moved in your heart, as it did for the Israelites, as it did for those with Jonah, what country it was? I forgot what country it was. Once God moved in the hearts of men have to do what God wants them to do.
Okay, Greg.
Be it for good or for evil.
Do you know of any examples of any preacher, godly person who has been professing and who people follow and believe in, and next thing you hear, they're into child abuse, they're into adultery, they're into sodomy, they're into all kind of stuff? Do you know examples of those individuals?
Well, Jim Jones is one of the biggest examples.
Okay, so then that is why I'm saying you cannot just say, well, people are men and women of God, and you have faith, and you just put things in their hands. Hello, Greg, wait. There's another caller. Hello, caller. Don't leave.
I would like Greg to name me the born again prime minister, governor, president, ruler. Name me the born again ruler that is ruling any country. Name me one.
I don't know of any.
Exactly. I'm not. You see, you think I'm not talking to these people these what you call them, a form of Christianity, where only on election time they're gone and some preacher allow them to come and they rostrum and talk and look me. There is none. There is no born again leader that's running any country. So keep it real, Greg.
But they have been in the past. They have been in, and we see them in the
Greg, we in 2025. I am not going back in Moses and all them past back there. Me ain't going there. I'm living where I'm living right now. There is none. So to say that God put it in your heart to give government your money. God will put it in my heart to see the man on the street that is hungry and I'll give him some money.
Yeah.
God will put it in my heart to see some homeless person and I would give them some money. God will put it in my heart to see somebody in St. Kitts running around with a medical list because they need some money to go get a surgery someplace and I would give them some money. But God ain't going to put it in my heart to no government my money because God knows they're not going to use that money to better nobody's life but their own.
Well, how you know that? Because if a government is doing things according to the Bible, the government is doing the work of God. So how you know God ain't going to put it in your heart to support that?
Listen, Greg. Listen. When you say government is doing the work of God, look me. The work of God is to tell man repent and be born again. If no government official telling nobody to go repent and give their life to God, they're not doing the work of God.
I agree with you. I agree, and that is why I said
they run countries because we as the way the world is. There is somebody who's going to run the country, and we give them that authority, that power, because we elect them. We put them there to see if they could better the life of people. But if we really real, they don't better nobody's life but them own. Because all we get is the crumb that falls from the table.
They're not doing things according.
They give you 2 cents, and you're supposed to be happy, while they take 8 for themselves.
Because they're not doing things according to the Bible, and they're not men who fear God. They're not men who fear God. So therefore, we get what we put in. But I'm talking about men
boy.
we see in the Bible, and so when they do things according to the Bible, they're doing the work of God. Even in government, they're doing the work of God when they're doing things according to the Bible.
But Greg, there is none of them doing nothing according to the Bible.
I ain't arguing with that. I agree with you.
So what's your point? Every day I'm coming on and saying it. There's none of them that doing nothing according to the Bible. None of them will never will until they repent and get saved and give their life to Christ. Because unless you give your life to Christ, that's the only way you can walk in the Bible way straight.
That is true.
A form of godliness cannot work.
But I will not say it cannot happen in the future.
So you're saying because there's a possibility of it happening in the future, we should take our monies and give it to them and hope.
Well, no. Once they are men of God.
He's still with this.
I believe. Go ahead. Yeah, I believe by faith that once they are men of God, okay, that God will so move in the people's heart to rally behind them. Mm-hmm. Once they're doing the work of God because they're men of God, I believe God will move in the hearts of people to rally behind them, as we have seen in the Bible. We have seen that over and over again in the Bible when the leaders, both the religious and civil governments, turn their heart to God and fear God. We see that God rallied the country behind them to support them.
Okay, Greg.
Greg, we're living in 2025, and what did the word of God say is the root of all evil? The love of money. And if you realize the more money these leaders get, the more they want. The more they get, the more they want. The poor still suffering. Because they love the money. You think they're going to office because they love the country and the people? No, it's the money they love. That's why they're going to office. They don't go there because they love the country and they just want to help the poor. They lie, Greg. They love the wealth. They're going it for the wealth.
And
the love of money is the root of all evil.
And there's also...
Have a good day, Greg. You better go down, stay on your knees and pray for the leaders. That's no wonder God said pray for them, Greg, so they could come, because you're living in a fantasy world. And make it worse. This world is not going to get any better because we are closer to home than we think. And the word of God said in the last days, you think it's getting bad now? It's going to be worse, Greg. So if you think the leaders are greedy now, they're getting greedier, and there's no such word as greedier. Have a good day, Greg.
The Bible does teach that the kingdom of God will continue to grow in all the earth and fill the earth of God with the knowledge of God before Christ come back. That is what the stone that hit the image that Daniel saw in his vision. No, I think it was Nebuchadnezzar's side. The stone represented the kingdom of God that was growing and growing and growing in the earth. And the other places in Scripture that teach that things are going to get better and better before Jesus Christ come back. You see, there is this teaching called dispensational premillennial teaching, which is very wrong, but which most churches hold to in these present day, but it wasn't so necessarily once ago.
But Greg, there's also another saying. It may not be biblical, but there's a saying that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So bear that in mind. Bear that in mind.
Yes, Lord Acton said that.
Huh?
But a lot of people don't understand. That is why government should not have these load of power and these load of stuff, because the more power a government have, is the more it bring out the corruption in man. That is why the Bible says Government just supposed to be about dispensing justice and approving of those who do good, because when you give government all kind of power, it bring out the corruption in man. And when the government now become absolute in its power, it corrupt the people absolutely. That's the meaning behind that phrase by Lord Acton. Government is supposed to be limited. Government is supposed to got all these kind of powers. Because when you got all these kind of power, it become a drug. Because you're now in more and more in control of people. And it bring out the corruption in you, because man born with a corrupt heart from Adam.
Okay, Greg, I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you too for your indulgence. Okay, don't get it wrong. I will engage Greg, as long as there's not another caller. If you have an opinion, you have something you want to say, I will engage you too. But, Greg and whomever wants to indulge, feel free to do so.
Found the sound, 98.9. WINN FM.
Unlock the secrets to a healthier you. Join Dr. Natalie Osborne every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on WINN FM 98.9 for Weekly Dose. During this 30-minute health discussion, we aim to educate and empower our listeners on the prevention of diseases, early diagnosis, and timely intervention. Don't miss out on this informative health talk where we teach you to live your best life. Weekly Dose, Tuesdays on WINN FM 98.9.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most. Let's stop child sexual abuse. The age of consent is 16, yet our 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, and 10-year-olds are becoming victims of sexual abuse and exploitation, which is being forced into sexual activity before they are old enough to decide. This causes mental, emotional, and physical harm to our children. Parents, it is your responsibility to protect and to educate your children. Develop a relationship of trust with your child. If they trust you, they will tell you. Child sexual abuse cannot be our norm. We must work together to correct this. Help us prevent, help us protect, help us prosecute. A message by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
And I'm back with you. The time 11:53. So that means we have about 7 more minutes or thereabout before the end of Voices for today. Don't forget, at the end of Voices, midday, 12 o'clock noon, we'll be bringing you the WINN FM news. So if you want to be informed as to what's happening in and around the region, around the globe, do stay tuned for the WINN FM news. Now I'm going to play my final clip. It's very short, just about maybe 3 minutes or thereabout. And it is to do with what is happening up there in with the Houthis and the United States, with the Trump administration trying to, anyway, let me see if I can indulge this caller. Hello?
Yes, Quinta. Let me change the topic. Now, that last commercial you play, right?
Yeah.
About the protecting your children, your girls from sex offenders and stuff. Something about that always bothers me.
Yeah.
I say, help us protect our children, help us prevent this and that and all kind of thing, right? But I ask myself every time I hear that, How can you help protect the children when up to now, think it do not have a sex offender registry?
Good
I don't know
question.
if my neighbor is a sex offender.
Yes, good point.
Because then they pass laws in Parliament, but when I look at the laws that they pass, the law they use it and say it's to protect the victim, but to me it more protect the offender because the offender name is guarded. Nobody knows.
You know something, caller? I love that point because it speaks to the fact that sometimes the individuals in authority, they say things just because it sounds good to say, but to really implement the rules and laws and to be forceful in certain things. Many times I've heard individuals say that things happen and they go to the authorities and the authorities seem to be dragging their feet on coming to a conclusion, resolving the problem. So yeah, you're right. You know.
Every time I hear that commercial, it bothers me because I ask myself, but you to help us do this and help us do that, but up to now, you don't have a sex offenders list, so I cannot go on the website and check if my neighbor is a sex offender, so I could warn my child to stay away from that neighbor. Because here in America, I can go and I can put in my address on my town that I live in, and if I have 10 sex offenders around me, I know exactly where they live.
Yes. We've still got a long way to go.
More than a long way to go, because then again, the law that they passed, I think last year, whatever, this year, whatever, they claim, it's to protect the victim. But to me, more protecting the offenders, because then they hide their names and nobody know who they be.
Yeah, I agree.
Shame them, name them and shame them.
Yeah.
So then the mothers will know who to keep their daughters or their son away from.
Yeah.
Have a good day, Quinn.
Same to you. Hello, caller.
A pleasant good morning, Brother Quint.
Yeah, good day.
And just give a shout out to all the listeners home and abroad. This is Rascal Lungi.
Yes.
You know, the discussion this morning is very interesting, but I don't like to get on the God thing and, you know what I mean, free enterprise.
Yeah. But still...
Greg was telling you about Millie in Argentina. He's engaged in a scandal here in Bitcoin here.
Okay.
He's engaged in a scandal in Bitcoin.
Like I said, I would have to do some research because I don't want to speak.
Check it out.
Yeah, I don't
want to. And he's giving you all these things about how great he is. These guys is making Argentina much poorer. You know, he come with this free market capitalism. We're in the Bible. Which scripture in the Bible talk about free market capitalism? When our people was enslaved for 400 years, that was free market capitalism.
Yeah.
But let me go on to Miss Henry now. Miss Henry, we're talking about our people and the mismanagement here. This system is designed that way, and a lot of these things come from overseas. For instance, look how much monkey we got here mashing up the agricultural thing. And we can't kill a monkey because of the animal rights people. These people want to keep us in poverty.
Kalonji, I disagree with you. I believe we can kill the monkeys, but our leaders are too soft and they don't want to take a stance.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. They're in league with these people.
Yeah, I mean, how could leaders of a country prefer to see food go to spoil and waste and people? You prefer your people to suffer than to start to put things in place to get rid of some of these monkeys. We're not saying let me tell you, Kalanji, you know that monkeys are smart. Anytime you put a ranger around given areas with a gun and he shoots about 2 or 3 monkeys, the rest of them are not going to come.
Exactly.
So but the leaders aren't doing anything. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. You know? And then you're going to hear the minister say, well, you know, we have to look at what lashback from. Come on, your people are more important. Those very same people who are telling you not to do this, they have times when they have seasons to hunt.
Exactly. Look here, for instance, Here the thing, we can't sell passport to Russians. Not that I'm for selling passports. Trump is selling passport to Russians for $5 million now, and every day America buy oil from Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And then they come and tell us, oh, well, Russia is this and Russia is that. And they're doing business with them every day.
Doing business with them every day. Every day. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But with people, look, I'm saying, right, I don't like to bash people. I reach to a point I don't want to bash nobody. I'm saying to you, the way forward for our people is for us to unite and speak with one voice. If we don't speak with one voice, these people are going to keep picking us off.
Yeah.
Because look here. Look at Trump's situation now. Trump is telling people who have green card, who have legal documents, that he's going to deport them. So what does that tell us? Our people got to stop supporting white supremacy. This is white supremacy to the highest. You understand? White supremacy is in full-fledged. You know? We people got to get real, man, and sit down and thrash out our differences to benefit our people. And if you don't want to do that, then you're against us. We have a matter.
Okay,
This is a hill state.
Kalanji, it's 12 o'clock. Kalanji, you mean you wait until 12 o'clock to give me a call? You could
I was trying to get in all the time, my brethren. I was trying to get in all the time. When the time is short. So
I'm looking at the phone all the time.
I want to big you up for the work that you're doing because, you know, I love it, my brethren. I love how you're dealing with it. You know, you're coming straight to the point, and you're very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm telling you, man. So check out Millie. He's engaged in the Bitcoin scandal, whatever other kind of currency it is.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So give thanks, my brother.
Give thanks. Yeah. Well, it's 12:01. It's news time, so I bid you adieu. Do take care. I hope your day started well and it continues in that vein. But in the event that it didn't start too well, here's hope that it gets better as time goes along. Take care.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by The Grange and Cariboury.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility